This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, January 20th from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Seth Johnson.
From Powell, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast about all aspects of home automation, home technology, all the good fun stuff. This week we got a couple of news stories. We were going to talk about some updates and stuff first, but I guess we can talk about our Mastodon server over at HomeTech.social. Yeah, it's been updated. An intentional update. It has translations now. So like if you go on the Mastodon server at HomeTech.social and you have an account and you're reading through and you see something in a language that has like symbols and stuff you don't understand, you can click the little translate button and it'll magically translate to whatever language I guess you have. Maybe it's English, maybe it's something else. I don't know. But it does it.
That's magic.
Does it just fine. So
works pretty well too.
I thought so. It's pretty cool. I didn't know you can even do that, and boom, you can. So
waiting for the apps to build in support for it too. Like some apps I think have it, and it's a cool feature. It allows you to interact with people from around the world. I'm going to start messing with people just by writing random things so it looks like another language. Then when they try and translate, it gets nothing.
you just go to Google Translate, and every message is in a different language. You just post up there. Be fun.
Yeah, all you have to do is translate like a certain phrase like 5 different times, and nobody will be able to understand what it is. So
yeah. Oh yeah, Gavin, you did rearrange my stories. All right. Speaking of updates, jeez. All right. Well, Matt, I don't know. There's a couple of new apps that have come out. What I'm really worried about. We're getting to the discussion of updating things later, but like everything, Mastodon doesn't seem to update very often. I mean, they do have an update. They do update, but like it's been on like 4.6 or something. I don't remember what it is, but for a little while here, and I'm sure there's another update coming with features and improvements and stuff. And I really haven't tested that, so I've got to test that before, to do an update, or I just do it in production. Who cares? Like, yeah, I'll back up the database, back up everything, and if it doesn't work, I'll roll back and try again. Right?
If we lose the HomeTech.social server. I'm probably just giving up after that, just so we know.
So important.
I'm just going to be done with it. Now, what app are y'all using for the mobile app for Mastodon? Right now, I'm using MetaText. It seemed to work the best for me, but
I like that one too. There's a beta version floating around of an app called Ice Cube, which is actually really pretty good. It MetaText does some things that I like better, but this guy seems to be really like pushing out updates all the time. So like he just did one as I sat down here to record the show. One came in. There was like one this morning. He's always adding features and doing things. It's kind of wild. And I think Gavin, you said you were using that one too a little bit.
I got in on the Ivory beta, which is made by the same guy that made Tweetbot on the Twitter. And I really like it because it's familiar. It doesn't have all the features yet. He's working on it. But it feels familiar. I like it. But I did use check out Ice Cubes, the one you recommended.
Yeah.
And that one is more feature complete, like things like search work. It's really nice. And it feels really good. So, if you can't get in the Ivory beta, check out that one. And it's free.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, and I mean there's kind of some big news from that Tapbots and Twitter. Like Twitter just randomly ended API support for a bunch of like super popular apps, like what is it? Tweetbot, Twitterific,
and Twitterific. Yep.
Yeah, Twitterific's like the oldest one, like 16 years. Like it was like literally the word tweet comes from Twitterific. Twitter didn't even have that. They had like post back in the day, and Twitterific was so popular with the word tweet. They just, oh, that's cute. The bird logo came from that. Like if you look at Twitterific, they still are able to have their little bird icon and that kind of thing. A lot of apps can't do that because it gets a little too close to Twitter's own icon, but they can do it because it started there. Like Twitter was not a bird branded thing at all when they were around. So just like a huge slap in the face to those developers who have been promoting and working on the platform. They just randomly ended it. Still no explanation. They just said they did it. And I guess they're coming out with some kind of new API thing in the future. I don't know. Like, but who would trust them at that point? Like if they could just turn things off, don't tell anybody, And basically, like, those apps look like they're broken if you launch them.
Yeah.
I think Tweetbot has a little like backdoor where he could add a message and say, "Hey, sorry, things are broken. We can't do anything." But like a lot of them just say can't authorize and everything looks broken from the app. And I'm sure they're getting bad reviews and all that stuff. But because who follows this other than tech nerds? But just wow, what a just horrible way to treat any developer who's working on your API. At least they should have given like months notice and said, "Hey, like, we're shutting this down in a month. We're going to have a new thing come online." Nope, just they cut it off, and they cut it off randomly. Like some apps still work. I guess the Mac version of Tweetbot still works because there's a different API key. But the popular ones, they shut them all down. Crazy, just crazy.
And Twitter said that they shut down. What they come out and actually say is their official statement that they were locking off apps that were misusing the API or something like that. But the devs didn't even know. They don't know what it is what API rule they're breaking or whatever. And I feel bad for Paul at Tapbots because, he put so much work into that. And, like some people said this better, but he basically shaped what Twitter was to me.
Yeah.
Right. So by using Tweetbot, I enjoyed Twitter because I didn't see a lot of those ads. I didn't see a lot of the boosted stuff, like I just saw my timeline in an order and it was always at the same point across my devices. I've loaded the official Twitter app now and it is a mess. Like it makes using Twitter I don't like it. Unfortunately, there are things on Twitter that I need to follow for work, and there's still some news things on there that I follow. So I still am active on Twitter, but I'm trying to use Mastodon a lot more.
Yeah, I really haven't used since they ended that. I haven't used Twitter at all, really. Like just a couple of times gone in, and when somebody posts a link, it shoves you over to the app. I hear there is a RSS capability in NetNewsWire for Twitter, so I may go look at that, and that would pretty much solve like the read-only version of what you're talking about, like needing it for news and following people that are still posting there. But for the most part, like the Mastodon stuff has basically replaced it. Everything, most of the people that I was following are already back on this, and I've followed a bunch of new people. And I would say, like, every time I open it, the way it works is you have to follow who you want to follow, not who Twitter wants you to follow. So if you don't follow anybody, you don't see anything. So you have to go in and follow people who are active and doing stuff on the platform. You can lurk after that and repost it, but if you're not generating the content, there's nothing there. So I followed a bunch of people and right off the bat, and every time I go in, there's like 100 new posts. Like I can open it up now and there'll be another 20 posts. Like there's plenty of activity in there. And if ever somebody gets too chatty, I'll just knock them off if I don't see any value. And that, it's not like there's a couple things that I'm following are clearly like news feeds just posting in, but I find some value to them and find the stories that they're posting interesting. So to me, this works better than what Twitter was doing anyway. So I'm kind of happy with it.
Yeah, and honestly, that's one of the more annoying things about modern social media is the constant barrage of different things in your feed that you have no interest in or that you just don't want to be showed, right? I use Facebook a lot for the business, and every time I go onto Facebook, 3/4 of my page is covered with suggested content, random videos from people I don't care about, or like just clickbaity stuff. And it just gets super aggravating because I just want to go to Facebook to see like my friend's stuff or like relevant business stuff.
Right.
And all of that is hidden under everything else. And it makes me not want to use the platform.
The most annoying thing about I find with Twitter and their app, though, is when I go to Twitter, I want to see what's happening right now. Right. Like sometimes I'll hear something in the news, like an earthquake or something like that. And I jump on Twitter and I want to see what's happening right now. But with the Twitter app, it's showing me stuff from yesterday or a couple days ago. It's all over the place. And that just drives me nuts. So as I said, I just follow some work people on there and some sports stuff on there that are not on Mastodon. And that's pretty much all I'm doing now.
Yeah. Kind of back at what TJ was talking about on the Facebook side of things. I use the groups. There's a lot of industry groups I'm still in, and I would be using them. And like, turns out if you scroll down too far, it would bring up another group that it thought you wanted to participate in. but it wasn't the group that you're in. And I would respond to and post something for another group. And then all of a sudden I'm joined into this other group in this other conversation. Like I dropped in, like I was not part of this group, but suddenly like this post that was like, looked like it was part of the conversation or the group that I was in, like just popped up in the middle of the group. It was so confusing. So I've kind of given up on that too. It's just that's a mess. This is nice because anything and everything that I want is right here. I don't have to worry about it.
And it's all like technology nerds, you know. That's pretty much who is joining our server at this moment, minus bots. I mean, we got a lot of bots. We have the same bot problem that Twitter has, unfortunately. But you know, we can kind of control that a little bit. And I don't know, most of the stuff I'm following at this moment is technology related in some capacity, which makes it pretty nice. So I'm sure that'll get diluted over time, but for the moment, it is all just technology based.
Yeah, I've seen like the way it works. I like a little bit better too, because you're not reliant on like what we were talking about. Twitter has their API, they shut it down. What are you gonna? You can't have third party anything. You can't have integrations, that kind of stuff. This is a little bit better in because like you can create there's entire communities and servers that are dedicated to like art. Like their people that are going there for art and they're focused on that. And there's a little like when you go through the sign up process over at the Mastodon thing, like you can search for stuff on there. And it is kind of, that makes it kind of confusing, but like you can go gravitate towards those communities and there'll be more people active on those communities on those servers that are looking for that kind of thing. So not only could you have like multiple profiles on multiple servers, like that's easy enough to do. You could have it set up to where like you could just join a server and only follow people that are on there for the art and that kind of thing if that's what you're into. So it's kind of cool.
Now I haven't messed with it any. Do any of the apps that y'all use for Mastodon at the moment support multi accounts?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any. I don't have multiple accounts at the moment, but I've always been curious of that.
Ivory does because I added the HomeTech account as well as my own.
Yeah, and so does Metatext. So like if you click on your picture, there's a accounts menu. You can add a new account right in there. And we have a little HomeTech account you can add in as well. So I think most of them have that feature, but it's been a learning curve. And but I like what's coming out of it. Twitter has problems ahead, and we'll see if it's long for the world. But when Tweetbot goes down, it's pretty much, that was my Twitter experience. Like Gavin said, I think Richard said something along the lines, well, if Tweetbot's dead, then Twitter's dead, because I'm not using anything else. I'm not gonna go anywhere else, and I'm already happy enough over here that I don't have to go back and deal with anything over there, unless somebody sends me a link or something to watch some funny video. But I'll click it and end up back on the Twitter site until it's completely down. Hopefully our update won't take ours down. So
oh, now you jinxed it.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna have to test it. I'm gonna like, now it's important enough where I'm gonna have to like spin up a new server and see how the upgrade, and set it up exactly like I said this one, and then see how the upgrade process goes.
Yeah, you better not be winging our server, you know, just willy-nilly updating things.
Yeah, do it AB and just like swap out the servers.
I want to see the change tickets before you do any of the work, and I'll prove them.
Corporate IT's here. Oh man, can I move my desk? I gotta fill out a form for that too. Oh man. All right, what do you say we jump into some of these HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, speaking of updates, Wyze, there's a new, I guess this is a new firmware hack maybe that has come out for some of the new Wyze cameras. I know in the past you would have to basically run this firmware and it breaks a bunch of the Wyze features, but this one I think like can run alongside a bunch and keep the Wyze stuff working. But it enables a bunch of other stuff. And what was funny, I thought and saw in here, this guy is like, why'd you do this? And he says, I started this project to track the local feral cat population in my neighborhood using cameras. So it has like prerequisites. You need a person, a cat for emotional support during setup, a computer, 256 megabyte larger micro SD card. And yeah, that's all you need. So Gavin, you read into this a little bit more. You had some comments and some side notes on this. What's so cool about this?
It's not the first Wyze firmware hack that's been out there. There was one before, but one reason I really like this one is because it supported dual streams. And you'll know on regular cameras, they have a lot of cameras have dual streams. Well, what is that? It's like when a camera you can have one stream that's high quality and one stream that's low quality. And why that is good is because if you tie it into a system like Blue Iris, it will actually use the low quality stream for detection, right? It doesn't need the high quality stream. And the high quality stream it uses when it wants to record, right? And it does that because the low quality stream requires less resources for everything. So you can have I have 10 cameras running on my VM, and because they're all using the low quality streams, it doesn't use up much CPU, right? With these with this Wyze firmware hack, because it offers the dual streams, you can do that, and it makes it much more affordable. I mean, $35 or 25, I think it's US dollars for a camera, and you could tie it into Blue Iris with this type of feature. I almost want to grab a couple now.
Yeah, they are, and I have mine sitting here. They are inexpensive hardware, and they work okay. I was using this for travel for an Airbnb to make sure that nobody came in while we were gone, and nobody came in. But it's a little pan tilt zoom camera that you can set up and move around. But I haven't used it since. But having more options, like adding this stuff on, I mean, this has quite a bit more than just the dual streams. That this guy has added in a ton of stuff for USB gadget support, so you can connect
Ethernet,
the camera direct to an Ethernet adapter. You can install WireGuard on it if you wanted to, and VPN right to the camera. So there's a lot of things in this that are interesting,
and it's easily configurable through like a single config file, I believe. So like if you just go to the config file, you just edit it, you do what you want. But the dual stream one was the one that stood out to me because it opens up a whole bunch of options, especially if you want to keep your camera streams local. This is perfect because you're just streaming straight from the camera to your Blue Iris, and you handle it from there.
Yeah, and I think this does basically void the warranty. Like, I don't know, it's hard to care about a camera that costs like $20, but
it doesn't void the warranty because from my understanding, it runs right off the card. So you plug the card in, you boot up with the card, it runs off the card, does everything. And then if you pull the card out and reboot it, you're back to the standard warranty.
Oh, okay.
The one thing you can't do is if you're having problems with it, don't call Wyze support, right? Because your hacked firmware is giving you a problem. That's why they every now and then they'll release like a firmware update that actually breaks stuff like this. So it's a constant game. Because right now I guess they list a version of the firmware that you do not want you to update to, or else it will stop this from working.
Yeah, and one of the things that says on like one of the very first lines that says no modification is done to the device file system. So that's pretty cool.
I guess that's what I meant. Like, don't call Wyze support if you're having a problem. Like, go back.
Does Wyze even have support you can call?
I mean, I'm sure you can contact them somehow, and then they should laugh at you. They should just laugh and delete the email that you send them or something.
Most tech companies don't even have a phone tech support anymore. So, supposedly they do. They have a phone number.
Maybe you can tweet them.
You can mastodon them.
That's a toot.
Yeah, I can't say toot in a serious manner though. So
just toot all over their timeline.
I don't know why they stuck with that. Like that, I think they did try to change it officially because it was like
nobody's going to want to say that.
And it's like, I'm not tooting all over the place.
They should have made it about cats, and they could have made it like a purr or something.
Oh God.
All right. Well, on to another update. It actually looks pretty cool. Code Project AI released version 2. This is the deep state thing that Gavin uses for his Blue Iris, and it does work better, I think, than the original thing they had. I think that was like Deep Stack or something like that they were using. So Gavin, what's cool about version 2.0?
Well, Code Project AI replaced Deep Stack. Deep Stack was the original like preferred AI tool that integrated with Blue Iris. This came along, and Blue Iris kind of is sunsetting Deep Stack and now going to integrating closely with this. And actually, they're both releasing features that tie into each other a lot better. So it's good to see a lot of development going on. They finally released 2.0, which a lot of people have been waiting for, and it's got like a revamped dashboard. And it allows you to do stuff like install modules straight from the dashboard. So AI modules, people are making their own custom things, publishing it in there. For example, I have a nighttime module, and it works better at night to detect objects and animals and stuff like that than my daytime module. And it auto flips based on, you know, sunrise, sunset, et cetera, right? So it's there's so much you can do with this. They've also, you know, performance improvements, and they've also added native Raspberry Pi support. So it's a significant update. And with that being said, they've had a number of issues while it's been coming out. So they screwed up the Docker container, and my Docker auto updated and it broke it. And they're still having issues trying to fix the Docker container. So I had to roll that back. But you know, a number of people are having issues, but that's why you usually sometimes want to wait for a few point releases. Unfortunately, they're at like 0.6, so you have to wait for a bit more than average point releases with this product than others. But 2.0.6, I believe, is what's out now, and it's looking good.
Is there any way we can incorporate this into the server to auto approve people?
Maybe we could tie in Chat GPT to read their descriptions and approve them based on that.
That's a good idea.
There you go.
Well, this looks pretty cool. Other than the broken update, this actually looks like a nice good update. I did switch the one the Blue Iris install I have over to this, and it didn't seem to make very much of a difference between DeepStack and this one.
Where I noticed the difference was the performance. So the number of milliseconds it took to analyze pictures.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at that. So it was significantly faster in that regards, which is good for your video card. And I have 10 cameras running off this. So I have to make sure my performance is like tweaked.
Yeah.
You must be identifying everything in your house then.
Well, it doesn't identify, like, you can set it up like if you're looking outside or whatever. It's one of those things that's nice. It's like if a person walks into the frame, it identifies that person and tags it on the video. But if the wind is blowing around, and like the worst thing we have for motion in Florida is these stupid palm trees and swimming pools. Like it always messes up the motion detection, no matter what you did, no matter how masking that you tried, like it always messed it up. This, you could just turn it on, and if it detects a person, like legitimately there's a person walking around on the pool deck, and you don't have to worry about the wind blowing the palm trees just wrong and fooling the camera. It's that's been really nice to kind of like see and use and set this stuff up where and I think you can get a little more fine grain. Like Gavin uses it to find animals and skunks walking through his yard, which we've seen pictures of.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Skunk or not,
right?
Yeah, but you want to tweak things like your trigger settings. So like when it's raining outside, I tweak that to reduce the number of calls to the AI, the code project it does, because based on the trigger, it will then send the image off to get analyzed. So if I tweak the trigger, then it sends less images off. So that's something you always want to look at if you're looking at performance.
Yeah, because it sends like 3 images to analyze those 3 images off real fast. And I don't know, there's some magic math that happens for it to, between those 3 images, then it sends it back if it's positive. Otherwise, the clip just gets archived or deleted and not flagged as a person. So it's really cool setup. I really like it. I know that TJ, you use the Tooting AI one.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like does a similar thing. I know that Unified, like the G4 cameras and up, have like this like they do car in person, and I think package now, like you can have a package camera and see if but that's in beta. It all seems to be kind of like rolling out slowly. This seems to be like bleeding edge. All the in typical Blue Iris fashion, it's like all the knobs and tweaks you can make, like they're there for you. So that's cool.
It even has license plate detection, so it will pull up a license plate and grab the code, and you can have it trigger based on what license plate pulled up into your driveway, for example, or just record all the license plates.
And that's nice for automation, because if it's your car, you can trigger something. If it's not your car, you can trigger something else. Trigger more cameras to look at this car and
turn on the sprinkler and shut off all the lights.
Somebody you don't want at your house. Exactly. Yeah,
it is pretty cool. I mean, it's crazy to think about what this security cameras will look like in the next 5 or maybe even 10 years. A lot of this stuff is relatively new. There's a good amount of companies that have some kind of AI stuff built into their cameras at this point, but a lot of them I've used, you either have to do something like this the product you linked there, or you go with like a lackluster solution that's already built in. So it'll be kind of crazy to see what it evolves into in the future.
Yep. And we had a little discussion topic here, auto update or not. With my experience in Docker, auto update is probably not a good thing. Like, it seems to be Docker and auto updating don't do that. Although you should update, maybe not auto update unless you're just not going to pay attention to it. I don't know. That's my opinion.
My setup is I usually turn on auto update for things that aren't critical. If it's critical, I'll leave the auto updates off, but I'll also find a way to notify me because, whether I follow them on Twitter or Mastodon or whatever, so I know that there's new updates, or I get a RSS feed of new updates. That way I know there's an update and I can handle it at my own leisure. But most of the time it's on by default. But there's certain times when things just break and then you got to figure out why it broke and when it updated. I also get notifications up whenever my Dockers update too. So so I know that they did get an update.
I usually leave auto update on all my stuff. I like to live dangerously. I don't know. I just don't want to manually go through and do a bunch of stuff. My Unraid server, I pretty much just update that manually, just because I had some problems with it initially. But my Unify and other electronics throughout the house, they're just auto update. And, knock on wood here, I haven't really had any problems over the years with that. I think Unify is probably the biggest issue I've had, where they'll just push out a random update and my iPhone won't connect anymore or stuff like that. So I'm a little hesitant on that, but I still let it roll.
I've kind of given up on Unify and just turned all the auto updates on at this point, because the good on having networking gear patch itself is better than the bad, like the random case where the iPhone won't connect. There have been major security problems with that platform in the past, and it's better to have it patched and updated. The two things I need to update for this, and I'm not, are MongoDB and Redis, which basically are only in existence to power our Node server, which I can't update right now because we're using it. So I don't want to lose anything. So yeah, I'll hold off on updating those and update them later.
Yeah, definitely hold off on the Node server. We have enough problems with that already. we don't need any more problems with that.
Exactly.
And it's been pretty good the past month or so.
It's because auto update's off.
Yeah, see? Solved.
Yeah. It's actually the updating the Note software is actually super manual. Like, you have to change the version tags on the Docker for it to update. It's not set to latest. They don't do a latest release. So you have to manually change the version tag you want. So I'm probably way behind on whatever bug fixes and everything they have on that. I have to go check it out. Maybe I'll do that later over the weekend or something. We'll find out if we have a Note server next week.
if we're not on the show next week, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's move on here. We've got a couple new products that popped into view today. Some of them exciting, some of them not. I'll let you decide what this one is. Today, Wyze launched 2 new cameras, which are iterations of the original Wyze Cam. They're calling them the Wyze Cam OG, with a launch price of $20, and it'll be up to $24 whole dollars. So save that $4 while you can, I guess. And there's a Wyze telephoto camera, which is called the Wyze Cam OG telephoto. That's going to be $30 at launch, and it'll go up to $34 later on. So again, if you want to save $4 on whatever Wyze camera you want to buy and then put new firmware on, it could be fun. The regular OG camera has the 120 degree field of view, and the telephoto version has a 3x zoom and a 27 degree field of view. Otherwise, pretty much identical cameras. They have 1080p HD lens or resolution with colored night vision. They have 2-way audio support, motion detection, and in their daytime mode, the cameras will record up to 20 frames per second, and at night drops down to 10 frames per second. You can do the Cam Plus subscription also on these things. You get features like the web view, AI powered package detection, vehicle pet detection, all that good stuff. So just kind of adding on to the Wyze cameras line. I don't really understand the OG thing. Like, I guess all their cameras kind of look the same to me. and this looks like just another Wyze camera. Looks like a square box, right?
Yeah, I think the OG is literally just referring to the price. I mean, because it's not anything like the original camera minus the pricing of it. So if the other Wyze cameras were way too expensive for you, then this is probably a good model to pick up. I will say though, I really like the mount for this one. Something that has kind of annoyed me about the DIY security cameras is the very terrible mounts they give you with the cameras. You know, for example, I did 2 Ring spotlight cameras today, and they have a really small mount that you can't really pivot the camera that much. You can move it, maybe 5 or 10 degrees in either direction, up, down, left, or right. But it would be ideal if it had some kind of like telescoping mount like this, just because it would allow you to put it into different spots. But I don't know if that's worth it alone. So
yeah, I'm looking at the Wyze Cam V3, right, and it's got this kind of weird like bridge type mount that it can rotate and do what you're talking about, but it's not quite the same. This is kind of like one of those standard threaded mounts, it looks like.
Yeah, and there's no shortage of third-party mounts. You can buy third-party mounts for literally any camera. So, but it's just nice that this will come with it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about this thing?
I've always liked the Wyze cams for their quality. I always found their nighttime quality was awesome. And it's good to see that they're constantly releasing new product. At this price point, you never would expect this company would still be around. But they're doing really well, and they got a lot of hype behind them, because whenever they come out with a new product, you see a lot of people, tooting or tweeting or whatever about it. And there's a lot of excitement.
Yeah, and people put these everywhere. I mean, I see a lot of posts on Reddit and other social media platforms where people will put this $30 camera outside. And the only thing I can think of is like how awful the IR would be at night or something like that. But they post pictures of it, and it looks pretty good. And they last outside, depending on where you are, for quite a while. So I know some people in the north have had them outside for 2 or 3 years, and they still work great. So,
and that's the best thing about it, is throwing them outside is like, it's a $25 camera.
Yeah,
like who cares? If it goes bad after a year, if you just get a summer out of it, you're happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't beat them.
These even have the little white LED on them for night vision, so you can kick that in and get the extra
color night vision.
Yeah, a lot of cameras are moving away from that infrared black and white thing and going towards the color, whatever they call it, starlight.
As they should, because that makes a huge difference. It is amazing when you look at a camera at midnight and it's just like full color.
I don't like the little lights on them. Like, I think those can be kind of tacky.
They are kind of annoying though, to be honest, because they do randomly go off. And like sometimes I'll forget to tell a client about it, and they're like, is my camera light supposed to be on? And I'm like, yeah, that's how it does it.
I can imagine that's going to be a problem with some HOA communities, but they'll learn. Just like random lights turning on or being on all night. Some of the cameras, like when they're in night mode and they need that light, they'll just turn that bright LED on and it'll just be on all night, like a floodlight.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Yep. I don't like that. I wish they could do like half and half, but I don't know. If there's enough ambient light around, it seems like they work just like what you're talking about. Like if there's landscape lighting or street light or something, it's fine. But if they need to make up the extra light, they'll kick that bright LED on, and man, it's bright.
Yeah, and that's how it's supposed to work. If it doesn't have enough light, it'll kick that light on, and it kind of boosts it a little bit. But if you have enough light, then that white light will probably never turn on. Right. So just add more landscape lighting.
Yeah, just
all you got to do.
Outdoor lighting. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's easy fix, right? Your $20 outdoor camera just turned into a $30,000 landscape lighting package, but okay. That's funny. All right, well, let's move on here. IKEA, not to be outdone, has released 2 new LED products here. They've got their smart lighting products under the range name called Pilscott. No idea what that means. The gadgets are LED floor lamp and an LED pendant lamp, and both lights are made using a bendable LED light strip, expected to last 25,000 hours. Light can be dimmed to suit your mood and save some energy. They also work with IKEA Tradfree, so you can get those set up. They're pretty bright though. These get up to 1100 lumens. So, and we looked at these. They look kind of nice. Like I like the floor. I have one of those like floor lamps kind of behind me. Not really using it for anything other than kind of like light stuff over in the corner when I need it. This is kind of nice though. I like this. The pendant lamp is going to retail for $87 here in the US and $79 in the EU and UK. And the floor lamp will be 90 pounds or, oh, wow, here we are, $80, 80 euros and $87. And I guess they've got all the translations here. So 90 pounds should be interesting. It's I think these are in the UK markets right now, and they'll be appearing here in North America later. So, but they look pretty good. I like them.
Yeah, I would buy this floor lamp, obviously, honestly, because we have a couple old lamps that we've bought from Goodwill or other salvage places, and they're not the best looking aesthetically. But this looks pretty nice, and it looks like it would give you plenty of light. So you could have one of these in the bedroom and one of these in the family room, and I would be good to go. And lamps get very expensive. So $80, presumably for this in America, that's not that much for a lamp.
Nothing. Yeah. Especially for one that's bright. Like, and even the pendant lamp, like this would be good, like over a workspace or, over a table to work in. They have it shown over like as like a chandelier type setup inside of over a dining table or something. But I don't know. You could use it in multiple places.
I might have missed it. Is the pendant lamp like hardwired to like main power, or is it some kind of battery powered thing?
Yeah, they're all hardwired, it looks like.
Okay. Because I mean, like when you look at the diagram of it, it's got basically the two suspension wires, and it looks like there would be no wiring at all for it. But it does look pretty nice.
It looks like it has a big box that it floats up to at the bottom.
That's just a lot of D-cell batteries.
Right.
But these look great. I love the design of these. And like, I'm looking at these lamps and I'm thinking, if you were to buy this something like this style design right now, you're looking at like $700 or so in Canada. Like that's how much like lighting is expensive. And then IKEA comes along and offers it for $100. You have to buy it.
Yeah, it's like you said, stylish. It looks good, and the specs on it aren't bad.
Once again, another DIY lighting product that I could probably see in like a higher end house. We had a couple of those previously on the show, but this one I could totally see in like $1 million house.
Yep. Well, speaking of things that you only see in $1 million house, Apple has released a new $300 HomePod smart speaker nearly 2 years after discontinuing the original HomePod. That one was released back in 2018. I have two of them. New features available on the second generation include support for Matter, yay, and a upgraded S7 chip, which was first seen in the Apple Watch Series 7. It'll be sold along the HomePod Mini, introduced back in 2020, and the new HomePod is available for ordering today, but will start shipping on February 3rd. A couple of kind of big differences between the original model and this one. Instead of it's got a single 4-inch woofer that's and 5 tweeters. It's down from 7 in the original model. It's got total of 5 microphones, down from 7 as well. 2 speakers can be arranged in stereo pair, just like the original. And it's got support for spatial audio with Dolby Atmos. So it also has some like a temperature and a couple of home automation sensors built into it too, that you can use for HomeKit automations and that kind of thing. So overall, like, I don't know, I think it's a pretty good upgrade. I don't know. Is it an upgrade? I guess it is. Like, it's a new product. They probably didn't need 7 microphones for the original microwave. Like, it seems like everybody else uses 2 or 3, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you guys going to run out and grab one of these?
Probably not. We're a Google household. I have a couple Apple devices, but I don't really see me getting into the Siri home assistant or a Siri voice assistant thing anytime soon. I just don't have a use for it, honestly. I've heard that people that do have them generally like them, and they sound pretty good. The audio quality is good and everything, but doesn't make sense for me.
And I'm a Alexa household, right? And I have no need for Siri. And I also have Sonos, right? So that's my speaker of choice, so I don't see myself running out and getting them because they're also $300 each, right? And Sonos has so many more options. I know I pay a bit more, but it has so many more options in terms of size and what I want.
Well, not only size, but the music services, right? Like you can
Yes.
attach just about anything to it. That's been my biggest complaint with this product from day one. Is like, all right, you did Apple Music, yay, but like, where's Spotify? Where is Tidal? Where is Deezer? Where is like literally all the 1,000 other things that are out there? Let me listen to those music services on this awesome speaker. I think it's a good sounding speaker. The price is up there with Sonos as far as how I think it sounds, but it's so limited. Like it's hard to say it's worth having it, like as a $300 speaker. I guess it was $349 when they first came out. They did cut them down to $150, and I think I bought mine for. I mean, it came down to $299. I bought mine well below that. Like I think they were like under $200 when I bought them. Like they were like used fire sale or returns or something like that. But they work fine for now, I guess.
Yeah, that's always my problem too, right? Is like I kind of want to use HomeKit just because it seems like a pretty simple platform for what my household does. We're basically using our home automation platform to turn stuff on with our voice or to set up schedules and stuff like that. But like, for example, HomeKit, my wife couldn't even use it because she doesn't have an Apple device. So I wouldn't be able to set it up on her phone. And then we also wouldn't be able to use any of our existing voice assistants with it either. So she would be completely locked out of it. And I just need something that is compatible with everything because, I have an iPhone right now, but if I want to switch to Android in 2 years, that would mean I'd have to get rid of my whole house, all the electronics that control the home automation. And I'm just not willing to do that.
No, I agree. It doesn't make sense if you're not in the Apple ecosystem. I think it'd be a more successful product if they were able to open it up somehow and let other assistants run on it. I don't know. Like it's a premium price product. Like let it do premium things.
Crazy concept.
I mean, charge for it.
Especially a home automation platform, right? I mean, like I get the whole walled garden ecosystem, like I'm cool with it and everything, but a home automation platform should be accessible to everybody. It's kind of like how they opened up Apple Music to everybody because they realized they would have to. Maybe they'll eventually realize it for this kind of stuff too.
Well, with Matter support, you should be able to use this to control other devices that are hooked up and maybe configured through other assistants.
Should be
if you wanted to, I guess. I mean, you have options that are similar to this and a lot less expensive than the Amazon ecosystem, right? Like they have premium versions of the Amazon Echo and little subwoofer modules you can add on. Like there's a way you can get to this in like within the Sonos ecosystem or other ecosystems easy enough. So I don't know, like the value even at $299 with Matter support and a temperature and humidity sensor, like I still don't think it's worth it for most people. I do like them used in my garage for a stereo in the stereo pair for surround. But I sit here and dream about just getting a Sonos Arc and a subwoofer out here. Like honestly, like that would be way better than these two things, that are wirelessly connected over Wi-Fi to an Apple TV. And sometimes you have to go in and remind the Apple TV that it needs to be connected to these speakers. Like make it less problematic. I am sure there's just a problem with these particular versions because they're old, but if it was less problematic, I probably wouldn't worry about it. But you know what's less problematic? A hardware going to a freaking soundbar. That would be a lot less problematic.
That was a lot of information on a HomePod. So
yeah, especially when I don't have one. I'm just going by what you say.
I'm more excited about the pick of the week. So.
Well, we're gonna get to that. I've got two of these things, and we have an old pick of the week that we'll just throw in here for extra notes here. There was a 9to5 Mac article a couple of weeks back about not letting anyone, like if you owned a HomePod and your HomePod looks like this thing, don't ever own one again. We'll put a link to this in the show notes. These HomePods are horrible. Like it looks like they just rolled them around in the mud outside and then brought them back in.
Yeah, I thought these were supposed to like sit on a counter or like desk or dresser or something. How does it get this dirty? Like, are they in like a shop somewhere, like an automotive shop or like a CNC shop or something?
That's what it looks like. Like if you
A smoker's house? I don't know.
and they're all the white ones. Like if you're gonna be in a CNC shop, buy the gray one, right? Like you should probably do that.
Yeah, and these are like genuinely disgusting.
Yeah.
Like I would not touch this.
Yeah. Well, good thing there's no buttons on. Well, I guess there is buttons. There's volume buttons on it, but you never really have to touch them.
Yeah, it's like, what are these people touching them for? Like, what? How do they get like this?
It's so gross.
I almost never touch mine. I mean, maybe like to do the volume manually or something.
That's what happens.
Like, even
that's what happens when the smokers are yelling at them. They're too close.
I guess. Just breathing all over it.
This is so gross. I don't even know how you would clean this. The fabric and everything that's on there. It's so gross.
You would kill it with fire. That's how you would clean it.
You would buy the new version.
Oh man.
Hopefully a dark black one or something.
Yeah. It's interesting there's a blue one there. Like what happened to that one?
I mean, that one doesn't even look that bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to the other ones.
If it came in blue.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
If you're gonna make your HomePod disgusting, then get a blue one at least.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, don't buy the white one if you have dirty hands and you work in an automotive shop dealing with grease and stuff all day. Or touch the HomePod. Like just don't touch it. Like you don't need to touch it. I never touch mine. It's behind a monitor over there. I can't even reach it, but for some reason they thought it was a good idea to. Man, these are gross. So yeah, anyway, we'll put the link to that in the show notes. That's all the HomePod news we have here on the HomeTech podcast. One more quick story here about LG issuing a recall for 4 models of the 86-inch 4K TVs due to tip over concerns. It's no surprise to anyone who's ever purchased, seen a 86-inch TV on the little tiny feet stands they have. The recall affects about 52,000 TVs sold between March and September of 2022. The recall notice from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says the TVs can become unstable while on the assembled stand, posing a serious tip over and entrapment hazards that can result in injuries or death to children and others. The recall notice says owners of the affected TVs should detach the TV from its stand, place it somewhere safe and away from kids. And it also advises customers to contact LG for instructions on how to inspect the unit and obtain replacement screws and stand parts. LG says the LEDs, which weigh up to 101 pounds with the stands, aren't defective on their own. The TVs only pose a risk if the stand isn't installed properly. Otherwise, the TV can be put too much strain on the stand, and the stand is potentially damaged at that point and will fall over. So, yeah. I've never trusted those little stands. Like even on smaller TVs, the little tiny feet stands they have on the TVs now, like they don't look like they can do it. I don't trust them.
2 questions here. Why have they stopped giving like the pedestal stands with these giant TVs? You know, some of them include that, but like you said, a lot of them have these really tiny stands. And when it's a smaller TV, like a 40 or 50 inch, it's not that big a deal. But I would think with a larger TV like this, I mean, obviously it's a problem. The second question is, who is buying an 86-inch TV and leaving it on the stand? Wait, I don't know where that would fit into like any house I've been into, but I guess I just find that weird. You're going to spend what, a couple $1,000s on a TV and just leave it on top of your cabinet?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good idea to me. And I've never trusted those little tiny stands. So
yeah. Well, especially if you have kids around, I would think you'd want to mount it anyway, just so you don't have to worry about it at all.
I remember seeing some of the instructions on some of the earlier TVs that had those types or any kind of stands really. They had like a wire that and some like drywall screws that they included, and you were supposed to install that into a stud in the wall. And from the top of the TV, there was a screw, and you would run that back. So like if it ever attempted to tip over at least one way away from the wall, that wire would catch it and it would flop back. But I don't know. Maybe that's the instructions people are missing, because it seems so absurd to do, but also it seems pretty absurd to put an 86-inch TV on a stand. So
yeah, and those are still pretty popular. I go into a lot of Airbnbs that still have those anti-tip straps.
For
and
sure.
they make them for furniture and everything too. So they're definitely still around.
Just about every piece of furniture I've ever well, I've bought from IKEA. Even some of them had like recalls on them, and IKEA would send like little anti-tip thing. Like they have hardware that you're supposed to install on the back so things don't tip over. Makes sense. I catch my daughter like pulling out drawers and trying to climb up to the top of her dresser all the time. I'm like, no, this is not how this works.
This is why those safety warnings are there.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, interesting stuff. All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found on our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/420. All right, we have a pick of the week that is as odd as it comes. As a parent, I will weigh in at the end of this, and it's the Gluckskind smart stroller. And TJ, did you take this? I don't know. Somebody put this in here. Who needs to admit to putting this in here?
Well, the way that Gavin talks it up, I think Gavin did.
Gavin has side notes on this. So Gavin, we're going to kick this over to you.
You get kick it. You know, whenever I look at any type of product these days and I see smart in it, I get excited. Of course, you know, that's why we do this podcast. And this is a stroller that's smart. And yeah, for the price, it's got to be really smart. And I actually found it is really smart. It's battery powered and it has so many features that I was impressed. I don't have a kid to put in it, but I could see myself getting it and put my dog in it and just strolling him around the city. You know, like my dog would fit nicely in it. He's less than 50 pounds. So it would be great. But it has like features like uphill assist, you know, and you're walking uphill, you know, it makes it a little bit easier, or even downhill auto brake. So, you know, if you accidentally slips out of your hand, it won't go running down the hill into the streets or anything like that, right? It has safety bubble detection. It can detect if it's about to get hit by something. Like, how cool is that? You know, like, at least you know it's about to get hit by something. I don't know how much time you have to save your baby in that case, but you'll know it's about to happen. It has, okay, this is the best, and I would love to see them build this into other furniture, but the auto rock my baby. Like, it will sit there and rock back and forth, like on its own. Can you imagine you're in a mall and you just see a cart sitting there? You know, the first thing you think is haunted, but no, I'm gonna think that's the Gluckskind smart stroller, right? It's this thing is worth. I think it would be worth the money. It's got apps. The app has GPS in it, and they also gamify it, so you could go up against other nannies or other moms and stuff like that to say who strolled around the block the longest with their kids. You know, it's gamified. And I had to check the sizes because I wanted to see if I could fit in it, you know, but it only holds 6 grocery bags. You know, that's the size of it. So, you know, even if you go to the grocery store, can you imagine? You take the kid out of it, hold it in your hand, put 6 grocery bags in there, and you let it stroll out to the car. You know, like, there's so many things that you could do with this stroller.
I think this is either a hoax that Gavin put on, or this is Gavin's company, because I've never heard anybody talk that positively about a baby stroller.
Smart stroller, get it right.
It looks like it's got carbon fiber too, which is fancy.
You know what? We'll wait for the IKEA version, and that will be much cheaper.
Okay, Gavin, you have glazed over the keyword 3 times since you started talking, and that's the keyword's price. How much is this thing? This smart stroller?
You know what? You can't put a price on smart.
You can. You can.
Oh, you can, and they did.
You know, child safety and, you know, mental health. You can't put a price on that stuff. If you gotta ask the price, this isn't the stroller for you.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
I think, what was it? $3,000?
$3,800.
That's nothing.
That would buy that would buy you a car that the baby could drive itself, you know?
This is like the Tesla of strollers, you know? Like, you got to pay that little premium and the Apple tax.
This is going to crash into random strollers. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It has lane assist too. like no, seriously. So when you're walking along and you have your little furry friend next to you and you get distracted and you wander out of your sidewalk lane, it will notify you to you're coming out. That's like a Tesla right there.
You're about to get hit by a car. You're about to get hit by. Oh, never mind.
Never. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is a stroller.
Oh man. Like Gavin, I really think that you want this stroller for yourself.
He has to have some skin in the
want,
game. There's no way he is this
No,
excited about a
no.
stroller.
You see, I wouldn't buy this yet because
Why wouldn't you buy it, Gavin?
well,
It
because
couldn't be the lack of a child, could it?
I don't buy things based on promises, and it doesn't have Matter support or Home Assistant integration, so I'm not gonna buy it based on promises. We'll wait till and you know, there's a couple room there's some room for improvement. So you know, I'm gonna send them an email and see if they can incorporate this. But you know, at the golf course, I see people walking around in their golf clubs in their own strollers. Follow them automatically. Why don't they have this following you automatically? Why do I even have to touch it? You know, I just sit there on my cell phone talking, walking down the street, and this thing's following behind me.
I don't even want
You
to look at
know?
my kid anymore.
Exactly. You know, it's like, oh, I didn't even know you were there anymore. You know, like that was a great walk. You know,
That's what I was doing.
yeah, this thing should follow you automatically. You know, I'm gonna send that in. You know, and you know, they can even do things like put some blades on the bottom so you can walk around your lawn and it cuts the lawn while you're walking the baby.
That's a good
You
idea.
know, or it pushes itself around the lawn while it walks the baby.
Yeah, and hopefully the baby doesn't fall out.
That's okay.
no recall needed.
Yeah, not at all.
Be worse than
But,
Peloton.
yeah, I'll wait for version 2.
When I look at this thing, which is just a monstrosity, I'm like, how much does this thing weigh? It's what, 30 pounds, you said?
Yeah.
Like, that's just massive. I mean,
It's all battery.
Yeah, the weight doesn't matter though if it walks itself. So
It's battery weight.
it doesn't walk itself into the car when you have to lift it into the back, you know.
not with that attitude, get a ramp for your car.
It's you get a workout from it too. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess.
The only reason this is on here is because it's in Canada. It's a Canadian product.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's a lot of crazy things that come out in the world of child. Somebody will buy this. I will say I will probably go to like a theme park in Orlando and see somebody walking around pushing this thing. But man,
you won't see them pushing it around because you don't have to.
Yeah, well, it's got those like.
If you see one walking itself, you know that it's that.
I don't know. It's got self-adjusting leather handles on this thing. You might want to touch them. Yeah, it's probably warm.
I'm just waiting for the first TikTok where someone comes across a group of them doing that auto, you know, rock my baby thing together, and then they put it to a song, and it looks like a little dance going on. Someone's gonna do that on TikTok eventually. Watch.
Well, you better hurry up. According to the website, there is only 3 pre-orders left.
So, they make these by hand?
They do. They're handcrafted in Vancouver.
There you go. Magnetic buckles. Oh man. I mean, it's like every premium feature you can think of, plus a hoverboard strapped to the bottom, plus an app and cameras with AI detection, plus a white noise machine, some kind of I don't know.
It's only $3,800. Your kid is worth $3,800.
Yeah, the kids are going to use this for like a year. No, not even a year. And then they start running around. I don't know.
They resell it for $3,700.
Could you imagine how angry you would be if your child like threw up all over this?
Exactly. They're just going to mess it up. You know the amount of like Cheerios and dried like fruit and strawberries and stuff, peanut butter, you're going to see like, it looks nice now, but this $3,800 is going to be worth nothing.
Why are you so negative, Seth? Kids aren't that bad.
Yeah, I don't see. Like when we got a stroller. We never bought like a big one. Like we bought the little umbrella thing that's probably like should be recalled, but we had to like dig around because you can't find them, and they're like $25 at Walmart, but they don't stock them at Walmart. You have to order them from like Walmart online, and they deliver it to the store or something. I don't know. We went through like 2 of those because the wheels eventually fall off. They make this like horrible noise, and that's how you know they're about to fall off. But that's all our child ever got. Like there was plenty of room in the trunk and everything, and it's light. And actually one of them broke at one point. We just threw it in a trash can and walked away. Like, couldn't do that with this. Like, if it broke down on the side of the road, like, what are you going to do? You got to push that 30-pound thing back home, get it repaired. How long's the warranty on this thing?
2 years.
Well, yeah,
3 years. 3 years of software support and updates, and 2 years of actual warranty.
Your kid's not even going to use it
No.
for that long.
You're gonna
You're
need
selling this even harder, Gavin.
you need like 5 kids for this to be like to even start paying for itself. Like
Probably going to be
resale
popular in
value
Utah.
will be great.
I'm sure, yeah, with all those Cheerios and crusted peanut butter and stuff.
You know what? You're going to see a bunch of these in California with little puppies. In them
I do not doubt
around.
somebody will buy this.
100%.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody will buy this thing, and yeah, it will be.
It's going to be Gavin. I mean, that's
we get enough patron support. We'll Gavin will get one of these. I think Gavin wants one. You know, a huge adult size one. Like he wants to sit back,
Wally style.
He wants to. Yeah, it's a wall. That's what this is. This is the Wally. Like,
I'm surprised you guys didn't put that connection together
man.
earlier.
I bet Glückskind means Wally in buy more or whatever.
I just like the auto rock my baby. You know, that's the best part of this whole thing. Just, you know, rocks you back and forth. You know, maybe you could airplay some music over its built-in speaker. You know, that would be awesome.
Oh man. Well, if it had Matter support, I think Gavin would got it. But
revision 2 next year.
Yeah, if it had Zigbee, he could write a Home Assistant routine or something for it, or what do they call them? Schedules? No, something else. Anyway, that would be done in a matter of a few days, and it would be able to like follow you home and then kick on the lights and all that good stuff. AI, it's here. Yeah. If you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, or a great idea for the show, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. Project updates, anyone? Gavin, you said you had a couple of minor things going, like your air quality's gotten a little bit better, but
it's gotten worse.
It's worse?
Oh yeah, like when I first got this air quality monitor, I was at 5 leafs and everything was great in my world. You know, I felt like I was breathing good air. Then it dropped to 4 leaves, you know, and I was on Mastodon and I'm like, how do you drop to 4 leaves, but you don't tell me why? Like, they don't give you the information. So it was driving me nuts because I'm like, I took an extra shower just to be sure, you know, I moved it around the room. It's still at 4 leaves. I'm just like, what's going on? And then somebody actually pointed out to me, like, if you're near a kitchen, you know, that could affect it. And that made sense because my office is above my kitchen. So maybe the cooking is affecting the air quality. So I now feel comfortable when it's at 4 leaves. I'm okay. If it drops to 3 leaves, I'm changing rooms. But they need to give you more information. It's like, oh, your air quality got worse. Why? Let me know why it got worse. What happened here? You know, because it was bothering me for a little while. So yeah, I got that a little sorted out. So that'll be good. The only other thing this week, Home Assistant still loving it. But you know, came across a little bug in it. And I've seen this in the forums. There's actually GitHub's where they reports for this and stuff like that, where the Z-Wave devices seem to every now and then you'll reboot it and they get reset to the default names or something like that, right? And a number of people have been seeing this. I see this, you know, like I could reboot mine in 1 or 2 devices. They go back to the default name and I got to figure out where it is and why and rename them and stuff like that. So just something to keep an eye out. One of the things I do is I have a watcher add-on built. It's I think it's in the Hack Store, and basically that keeps an eye on your entities, their names, and then it also keeps an eye on your config files, your dashboards and stuff. And if any of them go missing, it actually notifies you. So it will say like, this device is missing and it's in these automations, you know, you might want to fix them. And it's kind of cool because I have like a little icon on my dashboard that will tell me, you know, how many are missing and I can fix them and everything's good again. So otherwise you would have no idea. Your automations would just fail and you don't know why. You'd have to dive into them. You got to be proactive sometimes. And this is the Watcher add-on is a real good way of doing it. So install that. Highly recommend it.
It's a great idea. Yeah. I'll have to do that.
It's a really good way of like, if you have to rename an entity, for example, it will tell you everywhere after you renamed it that it's now broken. So you can now go through your automations and fix them in all those places.
Oh my gosh, that should be built into everything.
I wish, yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
Well, what's good is it seems like I just had to restart the Home Assistant thing after it's been offline for a while. But it seems to be working. Like it rebooted and came back online. So
just in time for the new updates.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of updates to do here. It's been down for like 2 weeks.
You have like 8 updates.
Yeah, they push out updates all the time.
So I'll run those later and crash the server later while I'm not using it. So I've got a little project starting tomorrow, guys.
Ooh, what is it?
Called Project Fiber.
Ooh.
And that's not like Raisin Bran or anything. Like it's
you're gonna make like a star ceiling.
No, not a star ceiling. I'm the fiber is finally to the home, and tomorrow the ONT comes out, and I'm gonna get it all hooked up. Hopefully, they're scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. So hopefully we'll see a technician come out, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't. One mistake I made when I was remodeling the house is I forgot to run like any kind of DMARC cabling. So I never ran any like Cat 6 out there. So I've got like some Cat 6 that I probably need to like retrofit in real fast. And I don't know. Maybe I don't need that, and maybe they'll do it. They probably won't. But I do kind of need to get some Cat 6 out there now that I'm thinking about it. Like it's weird that I completely forgot about that.
And you waited till like the very last minute. So you're gonna have fiber tomorrow, and you're not going to be able to use it.
Oh, I'll get it. I mean, it's not very far. I can get it in. It's not hard to retrofit. I actually have like conduit in most of the walls. So yeah, I did think ahead inside, but getting it to the outside and down the house is a little tricky because it's a block house and all that fun stuff. So I don't know. I'll figure it out, and hopefully tomorrow by this time I will have my new fiber all set up. That now. I talked about Clippy being damaged at the beginning, despite my best efforts of warning the guy who runs the fiber cable and has this giant like shovel looking thing where they like just drop it into the ground and wiggle it to put a trench in the yard where they want to put the fiber. They ran it like over Clippy over his little wire thing at least 3 times. And I keep finding extra times that they decided to cut it. And I'm like, I told you where this was. Like I could have, like I was like, it's right here. It's right here. They had to go under the driveway. They used that pneumatic like pound, like it's a little like tube, and it's got a pneumatic hammer inside of it. And I guess you just set it under the driveway and shoot the wire. Eventually shoots underneath it, and they can pull it through. So that was cool to watch. And it's all here. Like they got really lazy, like right when they got up to the house. And there is there's like a flower bed, I guess. I don't know. There's like a separator, like a little lawn separator thing. And instead of going under it, they went over it, and then they covered it with grass that was there, which was very nice of them. And I was out there kind of like rummaging around, like, oh, I need to get this Cat 6 out here. And I looked down and I was like, what's this grass here for? And I like kicked it back. And the wire where I would normally edge and weed eat, the little fiber optic cable was just like hopped up over the top there. So the first time I came through with an edger, that thing would have been cut. So I had to basically redo their work as it, approached the house. So I was out there before the podcast with a shovel, digging up my lawn and making sure that it was deep enough and everything and installed correctly. Thanks Verizon guy who cut my Clippy wire 3 times. They also like installed it really close to the road. Like I don't know why they did any of the stuff that they did. It was very strange, but they didn't seem like they were competent, but then turns out they're not. So
yeah, they usually don't care when they do that kind of stuff. It's just everything's in their way, and they're just gonna make it happen.
Yep. Hopefully the guy tomorrow will be better. I will be actively haunting him. So if he makes a mistake or does something that I don't want him to do, I will be there to tell him.
You're one of those homeowners.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be the one. And in this case, I will be. I will definitely be one of those homeowners. So I want to get the ONT in the right spot and make sure that power to back it up and all that good stuff. So I don't want to go internet going down, right? Like internet's got to be on. So I'm excited. Tomorrow's the day, guys.
Tomorrow's the day. Now you got to say some nice things and throw some salt over your shoulder because you're going to jinx it.
No, I'm just, yeah. Well, I mean, it could be that they just cancel the appointment and miss it completely. And they'll show up when I'm not home. So
Comcast you and cancel it 20 times in a row.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, like I said, tomorrow this time I'll be on fiber and have nice upload speeds and all that good stuff. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm just happy you didn't do it on podcasting.
Yeah, try out a new hot internet service. I already had to like reboot the cable modem tonight, so we were having a little bit of problems. What is this? Anthony saying the cable itself is still on top of my lawn and driveway. Oh yeah, he had his installed, and yeah, they didn't do a very good job of getting it to go where it needs to go. And it's not like they can cut it. I mean, they can, but
somebody
they
else's
don't
problem.
want to. Yeah, so they'll have to like uninstall it and then somehow get it under your driveway or whatever. It's really weird, but like you said, somebody else's problem. Yours specifically.
Good luck, Jimmy.
Good luck.
Yeah. Oh, is that Jimmy?
Yeah.
I couldn't see the thing. I'm on a small screen right now. All right. Well, TJ, you have any projects? You still doing your big job thing that you're trying to get done?
Yeah, no fun projects right now. I'm in the process of packing up the office. I've got the movers scheduled for the 31st. So 2 weeks exactly from now, I will be in the new warehouse. And I'll have to start constructing a workspace of some sort. So it's just a 20 by 30 open warehouse, giant roll-up door. So I think once I get all the shelving in there and kind of figure out where I'm going to do everything at, I'm going to set up a small cubicle of some sort. And it's probably going to look janky, but nobody's going to be coming over there. So
I'll send you some nice acoustic panels you can use.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I'll definitely need them. I will definitely need them. So
it's too good.
Yeah, nothing crazy. I got the home theater project next week, so hopefully I'll have some pictures for show and tell next week. That's I think scheduled Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we'll see how far along I get with that. It's going to be some behind the screen speakers and nice projector and all that kind of fun stuff. So hopefully I have some better updates about that.
Awesome. Now. We did have a patron come in at the $5 level this week, and Scarsel. I'm not sure. I did. That's what came in as the name. So Scarsel. I guess whatever anybody puts in the name and pledges at $5, we'll just read it on there. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, whatever.
You can put whatever you want in there. Like
money talks.
Matter is awesome or something. Like I'll say it. Like, but thank you so much for coming on the show and being a sponsor of the show. It really does help keep things running, helps keep the Mastodon server up and going, and it'll probably pay for some of us to get to Cedia in at the end of the year here. So just keep saving it.
And part of the 5,000 domains that Seth has.
Yeah, well, those have to be paid for too. All the
router hats and price per button database and everything else.
Until we start selling router hats and somehow monetize button databases, then I'm sure there's a way to do it. I just don't know what it is.
I'm trying to find a local, crafts person that wants to take on the router hats. I really think it'd be a good idea, but nobody's biting on it yet. I don't know why.
They just don't see the potential that you and I and Gavin see. Yeah. All right. Well, if you want to give a big thank you to the show, if you want to help out the show, and you don't know about our Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 per month gives you a big shout out on the show, but every pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, the hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather in there every day and chat about, I don't know, there's been a couple of conversations have been rolling through, but like mostly around the news, like the HomePod thing that came out. Things like that. I haven't seen too much about. I guess there's talk about AI all the time. Like TJ thinks that the AI is coming for the jobs. Gavin, of course, is in there just praising robots.
I don't think we should really trust Gavin's opinion after he really talked up the stroller. So
it's a robot stroller. He's all in.
Hey, if that stroller is going down the street and has to make a decision if it's going to hit you or me, it's going to remember that I treated it well.
It's going to hit you.
Because
I'm going to get out of the way. Because I have legs.
It has that little screen there with like the person, chair, boat, and it's like Gavin, and it's like green with a smiley face. It's like, there is Gavin right there.
Not
it's
foe.
Gavin. Friend, not foe.
Those killer strollers are going to remember who their friends are.
All right. Well, if you want to help out the show but can't support financially, totally understand. But we'd appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. Let us know how we're doing. That's it for the news this week. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Farewell.
Do not wing it. We are not prepared for winging.
What are you talking about? This whole show is wung, Gavin. That's how you say it, wong.
Wong.
We just wong it all the time.
I don't know if that's right or wong. I think you're wong there. Stop winging it. It's not wing night.